A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. Now Goliath was very tall and very large, and he wore the most impressive armor. Look at him. Look at him go. Isn't he nice? Yeah. Yes. Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, "Choose a man and have him come down to me, if he is able to kill me." On hearing this, all the Israelites were terrified. Now David was the son of an Ephrathite named Jesse, who was from Bethlehem in Judah. Jesse had 8 sons. David was the youngest. The other day, his father told David to bring some food to his brothers and to check on how they're doing. So David, the next morning, woke up early, and Jesse sent him off to check on his brothers. Meanwhile, Israel and the Philistines were drawing up their lines facing each other. When David arrived, he left his things with the keeper of supplies and ran to the battle lines and asked his brothers how they were doing. And as he was talking with them, Goliath, the Philistine champion from Gath, stepped out of his lines and shouted his usual defiance. Whenever the Israelites saw the man, they all fled from him in great fear. David went up to Saul and said, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." Saul replied, "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." But David said to Saul, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of the Philistine." So Saul said to David, "Go, and the Lord be with you." Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 stones from the stream, put them in his pouch, and with his sling approached the Philistine. Goliath said to David, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" Then the Philistine cursed David by his gods. "Come here," he said, "I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." David said to the Philistine, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." As the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran forward, and reaching into his bag, he took out the stone and slung it, and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down on the ground. After he killed him, he cut off his head with the sword. When the Philistines saw that their hero was dead, they turned and ran. As soon as David returned from killing the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul, with David still holding the Philistine's head. "Whose son are you, young man?" Saul asked him. David said, "I am the son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem." And so it was. David killed Goliath that day. The end. Thank you for watching Haven Youth. Merry Christmas.